Republicans are starting to get increasingly desperate, especially in states like Iowa, where it appears that they could lose these tight Senate races with the incumbent Republican Joni Ernst possibly losing to the Democratic challenger. Now, what do Republicans do once they see that their ideas are unpopular and they're likely to lose re-election bids? They just cheat. And that's unfortunately what we're starting to see in Iowa, where a judge has made a decision to invalidate hundreds of thousands of ballots because of the fact that the Democratic Party in the state had some portions of those ballots, just identifiable information, filled out ahead of time. So let me give you the details on what's going on. In July, the top elections officials in Lynn and Johnson counties went ahead and began mailing out absentee ballot request forms. Remember, these are the request forms, with some voter information already filled in, like names and dates of birth. Crucially, voters need to know their voter ID number. Most don't, and Lynn County Auditor Joel Miller had the state's vendor fill it in for them. I want to emphasize again, these are not the actual ballots. These are the ballot request forms. And they're just trying to help people out simply by putting in their information, like their name, their birth date, and what their voter ID number is. That's it. According to the Secretary of State's office, absentee ballot requests in Iowa are nearly 5 times higher than they were in 2016, and Democrats have requested twice as many ballots as Republicans have as of last week. So that also plays a role in what I'm about to read to you. One other thing that plays a role is this incredibly tight Senate race between Greenfield, the Democrat, and Joni Ernst, the incumbent Republican. A recent Monmouth University poll shows that Greenfield is at 49%, Ernst is at 46%, and I'm specifically talking about Democrat Theresa Greenfield, who's challenging Joni Ernst. And the Real Clear Politics average of all polls shows that Greenfield is leading in that race by 5 points. And by the way, Biden and Trump are neck and neck in Iowa as well. And so in late August, judges ordered 2 Iowa counties to invalidate at least 64,000 ballot requests, siding with a challenge brought by Donald Trump, his re-election campaign, and the GOP, which have been filing similar lawsuits nationwide. Just to give you a sense of the scope here, about 50,000 voters in Lynn County and at least 14,000 in Woodbury will be informed that their absentee ballot requests won't count, and that anyone who still wants to vote by mail in November will have to send in a new form in order to receive their ballot. In a separate case in Johnson County, home to the University of Iowa, as you can imagine, leans Democrat, more than 92,000 ballot request forms were voided.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different issues here. First of all, whenever I see something like this, first test that I use, and I think you should use as well when you're evaluating stories like this, is what if the shoe was on the other foot? So what if the Republicans had filled out the forms minus the critical information of who they're voting for, and would I be outraged by it? And my answer is no, I wouldn't be outraged by it. So I don't mind if either side does that, because all they're doing is filling out both their name and a number that is apparently hard to find. So if they're helping Republican voters vote more by doing that, I understand it, and I think that would be fine. So I think it's fine that Democrats are doing it. When I saw the headline, I was worried that it was going to be an outrageous decision by the court to basically steal the election in Iowa. Having read it now, I don't think it's an outrageous decision. I think it's a decision that could have gone either way. And could their politics have swayed it? Sure, right? But it's not outrageous in my opinion. Now, is it true that the Republicans are the ones constantly trying to block people's votes? Yes. Would this have harmed the vote in any way? Would it have led to fraud? The fact that their names are already filled out? No, no reason why it would. They don't fill out the signature. The signature is what authenticates your ballot. And if you do that wrong, then it's illegal and you'll be arrested, right? So but unfortunately, because of this decision in the court, right or wrong, well, all those ballots are now invalidated. Now, when they reach back out to those people, first of all, it's gonna take up a ton of time reaching back out to those people and effort that they could have spent doing something else. Second of all, they won't reach all of them. Third of all, when they do, those voters are gonna be really confused. And they're gonna say, wait, how do I know you're not a Republican telling me to vote twice as a trick? So it's a real giant problem in Iowa. And whether it was a theft or not, that court decision could cost the Democrats the Iowa Senate seat, and let alone JD Scholten's race, which is so important. And don't forget to help JD Scholten as well as Theresa Greenfield if you care about progressives winning in the case of Scholten and Republicans not winning in the case of Joni Ernst. So this could be monumental.
Yes, and so if you're someone living in Iowa, share this video and talk to your friends and family members. Make sure that they check on their ballot request form specifically. And if somehow it got invalidated because of these court rulings, make sure that they register properly and they have the ability to vote. The information is out there, so you guys can do your part by spreading the information and ensuring that everyone is prepared to have their ballot count. So.
Yeah, one last thing, guys. We got information up on tyt.com/vote on how you can vote in your areas. And I don't want to stress you out too much because I think voting is so important. But at the same time, as you're filling out those mail-in ballots, try to be careful because what they're trying to do is afterwards nitpick every slight potential problem because they figure if they can chop off 5% of the Democratic vote, that could swing the election. So their lawyers are trying to actively nullify your vote in every way conceivable. So fill out the forms, just take a little bit of time with it, be careful with it, and then send it in.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.